Hello, Internet. I am so glad you could join me this evening. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful evening. Here she comes, right on cue. Wants to say hi. Here's Scarlett. Come say hi, Scarlett. You gonna come up? You gonna say hi to everybody? All right. They appreciate it. I know. I've been neglecting you all day, except for when we went to the park and you ran everywhere and tried to scare other people. Everyone's scared of her now, guys. She doesn't get it either. When she was a puppy, I took her everywhere and introduced her to everybody and other dogs and socialized her and all this stuff. And then she became an adult dog, and it was like overnight, everyone was scared of her, and she doesn't get it. She doesn't get why everybody's scared of her. So, hey, Scarlett, stop that. Go lay down. And she's also in heat right now, which means she's just acting weird. She's doing all sorts of weird stuff. Anywho, I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening. We got some weird stuff going on. Looks like the CIA sent out their talking points, huh? Russell Brand and Lauren Boebert both seem to be getting I don't know if it's a setup with the Lauren Boebert and the Russell Brand, but it's pretty suspicious. Just the coordinated attack, it seems there's just, I don't know. Somebody pointed out, I don't remember who it was, and I apologize, I can't remember. Somebody pointed out, like, hey, well, Danny Masterson got locked up for 30 years. I think they're giving him 30 years. Danny Masterson, the guy that played Hyde on that 70s show, 30 years. Get him 30 years. Got locked up last week. Ashton Kutcher just resigned from some like board thing. I don't know. Just resigned from something because of his association with Danny Masterson or whatever. I don't know. But now they're coming after Russell Brand because allegedly he did stuff. He did stuff back in the day. We all know he was like super into drugs and he was a womanizer. We know this. We know this stuff. So I don't know. It seems suspicious. I'm not going to say one way or the other, but it certainly seems suspicious. And then we got the Lauren Boebert stuff. And well, I talked about a little bit about at the end of the show last week, just because, it sort of highlighted some of Lauren Boebert's features, if you know what I mean. And I think that was the biggest news story from the whole thing. And it sort of, if it was a setup, if it was some sort of plan to make Lauren Boebert look bad, I don't think it did that. I don't think it made it look bad. I mean, plus the video, we'll get into it. We will get into it. If you guys are watching, maybe you're new to the show, I don't say this enough. If you guys could go ahead and give that like button a tap, it'd be super helpful. Whatever platform you're watching on. If you're watching on X, retweets really help. Reposts. That's what they're called now. Can't call them retweets anymore, even though it's still twitter.com. It's still twitter.com, guys. Just saying, still twitter.com. And retweets greatly help. Likes help. If you want to follow, if you've never watched the show, that would be awesome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. You probably will disagree with me often. I have a lot of strange opinions to a lot of people. Anywho, this show is about, well, sort of the DOJ and CIA involvement with controlling what we think, at least trying to. They have a certain interest in controlling what we think. It's highly important to them to control, at least to a certain degree, what we think. And we're going to talk about it. So we're going to get into Operation Mockingbird. Yes, again, if you're watching the show, if you give it a like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, super helpful, especially if you're on YouTube. The algorithm does not give any of us newcomers any sort of help. So with all that being said, let's get right into the show. Let's talk about Operation Mockingbird. So if you guys aren't familiar with Operation Mockingbird, back in the day, it was discovered that the CIA is essentially controlling the media, giving the media talking points and sort of controlling the narrative from the media, who's supposed to be the trusted source, journalists. And let's go to this quick video just talking about I'll go to smarter people that explain it better than I can. So we'll go. I got a bunch of people that are going to talk about it, but let's go all the way back to, this is the one I want to start with here. This one. So this just briefly explains what it was, what Operation Mockingbird was. So let's get right into it. Sorry. I'll be able to afford better equipment someday, guys, I promise. All right, get right into it. Operation Mockingbird.
In a Senate committee investigation, it was revealed that the CIA had been conducting a covert operation to infiltrate and control U.S. media. They called it Operation Mockingbird.
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
Over 3,000 CIA contracted and trained operatives were placed in key positions within top media outlets. Posing as editors and journalists, these well-paid actors never dared to question the effect of their lies on the world beyond their cozy studio.
How often does the CIA manipulate the media in this?
I'll just say, what types of things could get journalists and news anchors to say the types of things that whoever, CIA in this case, would want them to say? Money. It's amazing how money will change people's opinions on certain things. Isn't that right, Peter Daszak? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about there with the Wuhan lab leak theory, don't you guys? Well, isn't there a lot of news anchors and journalists that were sort of lockstep with all this Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson crap? It all seems like they were really in lockstep with all of this. Seemed like a concerted effort. I'm not saying it was the CIA, but I'm not saying it was the CIA, but it's the same principle. They're getting paid to say what they're getting paid to control the narrative. And people see this is the news. It says news next to it, and it looks official because they're sitting behind this news desk and they talk in a certain type of way. Or else, well, the news is fine. They read off of a teleprompter and they say things. So it looks like news to them. It looks official. It looks like they can trust it. They can't. They can't, man. Sorry.
Beyond your wildest imagination. Setting up student organizations so they could draw radical students in. 5,000 university professors co-opted to help the CIA manipulate people's minds. Journalists in the U.S., including big-name journalists, co-opted to function routinely to help the CIA put out stories and biases to the world.
As this 1952 CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will.
It's a great brainwashing process to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interest of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
Would you say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations, I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
So how do we know that Operation Mockingbird still isn't in effect? Well, we don't.
Oh, that was cool. She popped in at the end. What's her name again? Crap. Man, she's done a Rogan a bunch of times. Sorry. All right. Well, Operation Mockingbird. So that was exposed back in the 70s. That was just way long time ago exposed that the CIA was doing that. Do you guys think they stopped? I don't think they stopped. I don't think they stopped at all. And then, well, we'll talk about it a little more. We'll talk about Operation Mockingbird a little more. And before I even get into the, well, let's listen to Callie Fontanilla talk about it. Callie Fontanilla, I believe. Let's listen to her talk about it a little bit because, she does bring up the Obama stuff. So I think that's highly important. Before I play this, I want you guys to think about when everything started getting super polarized, when people started really getting mad at each other and really this whole left-right paradigm thing really took off. Actually, here, let me check the chat really quick. Make sure, you know what? I should probably make sure that we're actually live and stuff. Wally World, how we doing? So it looks like we're live on YouTube. Oh, you were just thinking about the Roman Empire? So was I. Dude, I actually went down a Roman Empire rabbit hole. today a little bit. I wanted to know about something specific. So it's made it worse. This whole Roman Empire thing has made it worse. Anyway, all right, won't even get into that right now. Let's check the chat over on Rumble. Terry Wallace, how we doing? Pete Grabber, nice to see you. I doubt anybody's watching over there on Odyssey. Nope. I don't even know why I stream over there. Somebody watches like later on. I don't know. I'm going to keep streaming over there. Always do that. All righty. Let me check the X platform really quick. Pretty sure should be live over there. Uh-oh. Actually, doesn't look like I am. I may have a problem over there on the X platform. So annoying. I've been having problems frequently when I'm streaming over there. Trying to stream over there, I should say. Okay. Now it looks like it's at least trying. So I don't know. I can't tell. I think it's working. All right. Well, let's get back to it. Let's listen to California talk a little bit about Operation Mockingbird and how Obama made it essentially legal again for the CIA to work or to tell the media what to say, to just straight up tell the media what to say. Like, that's okay for them to do that. And when that happened, think about when that happened, and then also think about when everything started getting really polarized. The whole left-right paradigm thing started happening. Just really think about that. California.
Did you know that Obama made it legal for the government to put propaganda in the news and feed it to Americans? We used to have a propaganda ban in America where the U.S. government was not allowed to feed the American citizens propaganda, and they would have to label if it was something from the government. Obama reversed that in the National Security Defense Act. So now you can be watching a news story and you don't know that it's from the US government. It's actually propaganda and trying to indoctrinate you. For example, watch this.
News has become all too common on social media.
All right, we've all seen this. You guys remember this, but it's really telling. Like, and this is super old clips. Like, these are, I don't know, these look like they're from the early 2000s or mid 2000s, but this is very, very telling that this many these are local news stations too, that this many little local news stations got the same exact word for word talking points. And since this was, I believe this was pre-iPhone, not necessarily pre-internet, but pre-iPhone, well, before everybody had access to all the information in the world right in their pocket. So people looked to the media on the TV a lot more than they didn't have as many options as they do now. They could go, there's so many places to go for information now. And even if they want to say, stop the spread of misinformation, all that, look at all the information. I just watched an interview with Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks. Like, Michael Malice just interviewed him. It's actually a good conversation. Michael Malice is such a good interviewer because it's very clear that he's not going into the interview trying to just do like an I gotcha thing. Actually, Megyn Kelly just did a decent interview with Trump in the same regard, where it wasn't like an I gotcha thing. It was trying to actually get somewhere and have a conversation. And that's what Malice did with Cenk, even though I can't stand Cenk. There's tons of points in the interview where I wanted Michael to push back on a lot of things that Cenk was saying, but he actually got Cenk to admit some things. He got Cenk to admit that if Biden and Trump go head to head, Biden's got no chance, like legitimate chance. Cenk, they didn't talk about like fraud or ballots or anything like that, but Cenk just straight up said, yeah, his popularity's dropped by 15 points and Trump's hasn't, and it's going to be bad. He got him to admit a few other things too, but without trying. Because he was having a conversation with them. He wasn't trying to be super combative. Anyway, point being, there's a lot of different places to get information now, even if you hear information that's false. It's usually someone's opinion. It's not somebody trying to actively spread misinformation. The only people that are actively trying to deceive you, actively trying to spread misinformation or disinformation and control what you're thinking, the only people trying to do that are the corporate press, mainstream media talking heads controlled by the CIA. And here's the example of that.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 So now all the sheep watch the news and they have no idea that it's government programming. Thanks, Obama. Let's go get the shot and put our masks on now. Did you know that?
So people will hear them, like, they'll hear Callie say that and say government programming, conspiracy theorists. They'll hear her say that, and like that's what those type of words, the sort of response that they trigger in people's minds. Government programming. But it is essentially government programming. They're giving talking points to the media. The media is just regurgitating them. They're not doing any sort of thinking, any sort of analysis. They're not giving you their personal opinions. If we were getting news anchors' personal opinions, we'd be getting a very diverse range of views and opinions because everybody interprets things differently. And that's what we should be getting. And that's what you get from alternate media. That's what you get from, you know, all sorts of shows that are online. Hopefully like this show. Hopefully that's why you guys tune in. That's what I'm hoping. But that's the point. Anyway, I'm trying not to talk for too long on this show. Here's another example of the Operation Mockingbird stuff. This is Dr. Jan Halper Hayes. I thought she was a doctor, a lawyer
in there forever. Then Obama repealed, and that is part of why we have this corrupt media. You could go to Wikipedia and find Operation Mockingbird, that the CIA has been in there forever. Then Obama repealed the 1948 Smith-Mundt Act, which then permitted propaganda to be in broadcasting. It no longer said that it had to be credible. And so when he came out and said fake news, he warned us at the end of his speech that it is going to be very hard. The establishment, the media, the globalists are all going to come after. They're going to try to intimidate.
All right, the Smith-Mundt Act. That's what it was called. That's what Obama repealed. So they made it so it's okay for the CIA to give the media talking points. Let's listen to Kennedy talk about it, actually. If there's anybody that... when Kennedy talks about this stuff, I trust him on this. And, well, this is already verified crap. The Operation Mockingbird's verified. It's a conspiracy theory that came true, like Gulf of Tonkin or MK Ultra or Tuskegee experiments or whatever. It's one of those. And the Smith-Mundt Act, that was repealed by Obama. And this is like, these are legit things, and you'll still get called a conspiracy theorist if you talk about it. And okay, let's listen to RFK, whose uncle and father were assassinated, maybe by the CIA. Let's listen to him talk about it.
There's a provision in the CIA charter that says that the CIA cannot propagandize the American people. President Obama adopted in 2016 that essentially reopened the door for Operation Mockingbird so that the CIA began once again to propagandize.
And again, when did everybody start becoming so at each other's throats? So this is anecdotal because this is just me, but I personally didn't really start getting into politics until around 2015. I've told the story before, but it started with a cop at the store I was working at. I was a project manager at the Magnolia inside the Best Buy in Emeryville, California. Anybody that knows Emeryville, it's not the greatest area. It's where Pixar is. It's kind of like right on the border between Oakland and Berkeley, right up against the base of the Bay Bridge. Anyway, yeah, sorry, I completely forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, sorry. There's a cop there. We had off-duty officers. We actually had to have active police officers at our store for security. That's how bad the neighborhood was. And it was when Bernie Sanders was running up against Hillary and Trump was up against Ted Cruz at the time. It was right during the time that Trump was saying something about Ted Cruz's dad or grandpa being the Zodiac killer. I don't know. It was that time period. It was freaking hilarious. And I was like considering myself a Bernie guy at the time, but I wasn't too far into politics. I just kind of liked the things Bernie was saying, but I'd never put too much thought into politics. And he's the one that started asking me questions about how I felt about certain things. And he was like, yeah, you're a conservative. Turns out I'm not. I am. I do have conservative values, but they're my personal conservative values. My political philosophy is very libertarian. It's very leave people alone. Don't want the government involved. But I do have personal conservative values. But anywho, 2016, that's when Obama made it okay, repealed the Split-Month Act. And that's also right around the same time everybody started getting pushed to one side or the other. Weird how those things coincide with one another.
As American. And how are they doing that presently?
High-level intelligence officials or people associated with the intelligence industry are running those journals, like Noah Schlackman, who runs Rolling Stone, who came from Daily Beast. Daily Beast was run by John Avalon, who was, who has deep ties to the intelligence agencies. But even journals like Smithsonian and National Geographic, Nature, the Washington Post, the New York Times appear to be compromised by the CIA. We know from the Twitter files that both the FBI and CIA were operating portals within the Twitter and Facebook that allowed them to manipulate information and to deplatform people and to silence certain people that they didn't like in the social media. Operation Mockingbird was an operation to compromise American journalists. There were some 400 editors, journalists from all the largest publications. The New York Times had been compromised. The Washington Post was basically.
What do you mean by compromised for people who?
Well, they were functioning. The high-level people at those journals were working for the agency or had signed secrecy agreements with the CIA. And at CBS, ABC, NBC, after '75, when it all came out during the Church Committee hearings.
Like, really think of the implications of that. Like, how deeply tied these not just news outlets, but like Nature and the Smithsonian and probably like History Channel and stuff like that like they're compromised too. It's Science Magazine, probably Popular Mechanics, stuff like that. It's
the CIA promised that it would no longer compromise American journalists. It continued the program to compromise journalists all over the world. And today, the CIA is the biggest funder of journalism in the world.
And how about present day?
They fund it through USAID. In that little twilight zone before I fall asleep every night, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do in the first weeks when I get into office about fixing these agencies, one at a time. That's something I'm excited about. If you like this video.
All right. So I think that's enough on Operation Mockingbird. But with all that being said, who are the people, if we were to just rattle off, who are the main people that the establishment's going after hardest right now? Who are they? What people? What people are the establishment going after hardest right now? Oh, come on. Sorry. If we're to rattle off a list, obviously starting up there with Donald Trump, but started with Alex Jones. They're also going after people from InfoWars. They locked up Joe Biggs. He used to work for InfoWars. He was January 6th. Gave him, what, 17 years? 18 years? Something like that. They've also they're going after Owen Schroyer now. Owen Schroyer, trying to give him 130 days for what he said, for the words he said at the Capitol, or not even at the Capitol. Like, I was talking about that day, I believe. So they're trying to lock up Owen Schroyer too. But the people they're really going after hard are the ones that are the biggest threat to the establishment. Guys like Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, and, well, now it seems like they're going after Russell Brand. And, well, I didn't mention Andrew Tate because I'm not buying into his whole stuff. I'm not doing it. Like, maybe the establishment is going after him in a certain regard, but at the same time, it does legit. I don't know. We'll get into the Andrew Tate stuff a little bit later. He's being compared to Russell Brand. Andrew Tate and Russell Brand are being compared to one another, and they're like polar opposite individuals from what I can tell. Russell Brand was maybe a womanizer, but Russell Brand actually, he seems like he wants individuals to become better humans. Tate wants to teach men how to be narcissistic megalomaniacs, but not even so much. He wants to pretend to teach them how to be narcissistic megalomaniacs while robbing them blind. Yeah, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And I don't know, any of you Tate lovers out there, sorry. I don't know what to say. All right, let's get into the Russell Brand stuff. So with all the Operation Mockingbird stuff that we just went over, let's just keep that in mind with the Russell Brand stuff. And maybe I have to start a Russell Brand folder. It's funny. All right, well, let's get into it. So Russell Brand came out a few days ago. I don't think it was yesterday, but let's listen to good old Rusty Rockets say what happened from his perspective. Not even what happened, but he got tipped off that all this stuff is about to come out, apparently. So let's listen to Russell Brand talk about it. Maybe. I got audio?
Where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the... Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. Now, this isn't the usual type of video we make on this channel where we critique, attack, and undermine the news in all its corruption, because in this story, I am the news. I've received two extremely disturbing letters, or a letter and an email, one from a mainstream media TV company, one from a newspaper, listing a litany of extremely egregious and aggressive attacks, as well as some pretty stupid stuff like my community festival should be stopped, that I shouldn't be able to attack mainstream media narratives on this channel. But amidst this litany of astonishing, rather baroque attacks are some very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies. And as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny makes me question, is there another agenda at play? Particularly when we've seen coordinated media attacks before, like with Joe Rogan, when he dared to take a medicine that the mainstream media didn't approve of. And we saw a spate of headlines from media outlets across the world using the same language. I'm aware that you guys have been saying in the comments for a while, watch out, Russell, they're coming for you. You're getting too close to the truth. Russell Brand did not kill himself. I know that a year ago, there was a spate of articles. Russell Brand's a conspiracy theorist. Russell Brand's right wing. I'm aware of news media making phone calls, sending letters to people I know for ages and ages. It's been clear to me, or at least it feels to me, like there's a serious and concerted agenda to control these kind of spaces and these kind of voices. And I mean my voice along with your voice. I don't mind them using my books and my stand-up to talk about my promiscuous consensual conduct in the past. What I seriously refute are these very, very serious criminal allegations. Also, it's worth mentioning that there are witnesses whose evidence directly contradicts the narratives that these two mainstream media outlets are trying to construct, apparently in what seems to me to be a coordinated attack. Now, I don't want to get into this any further because of the serious nature of the allegations, but I feel like I'm being attacked, and plainly they are working very closely together. We are obviously going to look into this matter because it's very, very serious. In the meantime, I want you to stay close, stay awake, but more important than any of that, if you can, please stay free.
All righty. So I don't really watch his show that often. I watch clips from his show every now and then, but I don't watch his show often enough to know what he's been talking about recently. But I would imagine he's pretty outspoken about not being involved in the war in Ukraine and stuff like that. I would imagine stuff the establishment doesn't like us talking about. So let's continue. All right. So this is a video from, this is from Solomon. This is the dude that does the spaces with Mario Narwhals. Breaking woman provides evidence the MSM contacted her about Russell Brand. MSM attack. So let's just watch this video.
I actually know who this is about, and I have the receipts. I was contacted in June by a journalist regarding a video I made about a certain celebrity and a weekend that we shared together. The video is kind of viral. It's on my page somewhere if you want to go see it. And that certain somebody was, as most of you will be aware, Mr. Brand. They weren't going to use my story because it didn't fit the narrative for their documentary, because he wasn't an asshole to me. But here are some of the messages. Obviously, I will take out the person's name and stuff. We had a phone call. She contacted me for more information, and I didn't contact her back because I kind of felt like it would be mean. Anyway, there you go. Put your bets on. It's a documentary about the one and only Mr. Russell Brand. And just a fun fact. Astrology-wise, the lunar nodes of destiny have shifted into Aries right on top of his Mars and Moon. Written in the stars, baby. Okay, bye.
Man, why you gotta add some weird astrology crap at the end of it? All right. Well, there's more. There's more Russell Brand stuff. All right. So this, Simon Atiba says this is why he's being attacked right here. It's the type of stuff that he talks about. This is when he was on Bill Maher, and he is very outspoken about a lot of stuff that goes against the establishment talking points. So let's listen to him when he was on Maher.
Well, yes.
Out of respect for you and your show, I've brought some facts. Would you? If you like, they're actually.
You just get the fuck out of here. This is not the place.
I thought you like facts.
We love facts. I love facts.
I wouldn't have mentioned it. I'm English, and you know that politeness is our fundamental religion. But they do pertain to this issue. So may I say some of them? If they inconvenience you, I'll stop saying them. The pandemic created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than 2/3 of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention that finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
And he's so spot on with that last part, and it's frustrating. Let's continue with the Russell Brand stuff. So there are people saying that Russell coming out saying the other thing, that they do believe Russell Brand did the things these women are accusing him of, apparently. So this is just some comedian. Dude, it looks like he's doing like a TED talk, but this is a friend of Russell Brand's talking about him, apparently.
We knew this man for 8 years and he fucking did it. There are monsters amongst us and they look like us. If you are sick of the narrative that is currently going on about men, feel free to change it, but you have to get involved. Don't make the same mistake I did for years, which was just sitting back and be like, well, I'm not part of the problem, therefore I must be part of the solution, because that's just not how this fucking shit works. I believe that deep down I know that most men are good. Of course we are. But when 1 in 10 men are shit and the other 9 do nothing, they might as well not fucking be there. Being good on the inside counts for absolutely fuck all. You have to actively be good and get involved. Instead of having this fucking hero complex of being like, I'm going to beat up a rapist, fucking prevent one, stop one, because I know it can be done, because I know how I fucking failed at it. Because if I'm being 100% honest with myself, were there signs in my friend's behavior over the years towards women that I ignored? The answer is yes. And then he raped my friend, and that's on me until the day I die. All
right, so apparently he's talking about Russell Brand there, saying that, you know, he was friends with them, and then his womanizer behavior were signs that he could be a rapist. And he said that he raped his friend. So that's what this guy here is saying. Okay. Let's see. Russell Brand puts out a statement the day before a massive investigation was going to be released. Before even waiting a day to see the evidence, many so-called influencers blindly defended Brand. Never take people like that seriously. That's what an open secret says. And, well, it's not people so much defending Brand, it's that it looks super suspicious. Are people saying that there's no way that he could have, I don't even know what the allegations are, that he raped 4 women? Let's say it's the worst possible thing, that he raped 4 women. Okay, I'm not saying that's not possible. It's just very, why all of a sudden, all 4 of them, and then there's this other chick that's saying that she was approached by journalists saying like, hey, can you tell us a story about when you dated Russell Brand? She says that he was a perfect gentleman. She actually turned him down and he was still a perfect gentleman. And there's a bunch of people coming out in Russell Brand's defense that have dated him. So I don't know. I'm not saying one way or the other, but I'm leaning towards no, that I don't think this stuff's true because of the coordination of the attacks. And let's just watch. This is crazy. This is just like a newsstand. So here, check out this quick video. Because this is very similar to that the video I played earlier where it showed all the local news anchors saying the exact same word for word crap. This is very similar to that right here. So look at this. People, The Observer, Sunday Times, the Mail, the Daily Mail. I think that's what it is. Just all of these newspapers, the headline is Russell Brand. Every single one of them. It seems a bit much. Like, of all the things going on in the world today, why, like, sure, okay, let's say that the allegations are true, that Brand raped. Brand accused of rape. Brand accused of rape. Yes, all these headlines are saying. So, what was this last headline say? Brand is accused of rape and grooming a girl of 16. Okay, so let's say all these allegations are true. Is this like headline, like lead story news of all the things that are going on in the world right now? Like, Biden's going to get impeached probably. We're heading towards World War III. We're coming into an election year. Like, there's so much crazy stuff going on in the world right now, and this is what's like breaking headlines. Like, every single newspaper has this on as their front story. I don't know. It just seems a bit much to me. I don't know. Okay. Just seems a bit much. That's all. So, with that being said, I think that's enough with the Russell Brand stuff. Dave Smith says, like you, I have no idea what happened. I do know. Oh, let me click on it so I can read the whole thing. Like you, I have no idea what happened. I do know that the standard can't be anonymous claims you did something a decade ago with no evidence, and now we're all supposed to convict you in our minds. When this insanity is the standard, people are going to get skeptical of the claims, especially when the person targeted is already hated by the establishment, and he certainly is, Russell Brand. He used to be loved by the establishment, and strangely, so did Trump, it seemed. So, I don't know. All right. I think that's enough about the Russell Brand stuff, but all right, just keep Operation Mockingbird in mind, and keep the what was it, Howard Munt Act, Munt Act that Obama repealed back in 2016, I believe it was. Keep that in your mind too. Boy howdy, it seems like that stuff is happening. At least it seems like that to me. But I'm a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, so I'm sure I'm wrong, guys. I'm sure the CIA isn't doing anything to control what we think at all. Here, let's watch this quick. So they're comparing Russell Brand to Andrew Tate, and I don't like that so much. I actually like Russell Brand. I don't like Andrew Tate so much. So let's listen to this. This is Mike Barr TV. One difference between Russell Brand and Andrew Tate is Russell Brand isn't lying about what he's being accused of. That's what he says here. I talked a little bit about him last show, but this is another clip I want to show you guys.
So what are you charged with?
That's a really good question.
Here is the official story.
The case against me is that from 2021, my brother and I
formed an organized criminal gang,
which is in charge of recruiting girls
with the intent of moving women
to move to Romania to make TikTok videos
so we could steal money from their TikTok accounts to enrich ourselves.
To make TikTok videos to steal the money from the TikTok views. And they're trying to say that I made those girls do TikTok for massive financial gain. Decided to make girls do TikTok to enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from TikTok. TikTok. We're forcing them to do the TikTok, make TikTok videos so we could steal the TikTok money.
And TikTok, and they mention OnlyFans.
Correct.
I also have an OnlyFans business. For the last 2 to 3 years, I've been making money on OnlyFans from its inception all the way up till now. And the reason I started this course is because a lot of people have been asking me, Tate, how do you get girls to work for you on OnlyFans? Why would a girl work for you and not decide to do it by themselves? First things first, the reason women need a man to do OnlyFans is the same reason a woman need a man to do anything, because they're incompetent and they're very, very lazy. And they're stupid. Currently filming this during the COVID pandemic. You may be watching this later on, but right now during the pandemic.
So what are you charged?
So yeah, the stuff that apparently he's being charged for, he seems to admit all of this stuff on video, like brags about it all the time. So I don't know. Like, is the establishment going after him because they don't like the stuff that he's saying? Maybe, but like I don't. These things he does seem to be. I don't even know if these are crimes, but I don't think a good dude is trying to basically be a digital pimp and then also trying to tell other dudes to be digital pimps and sell them on some sort of like alpha male program at the same time. And then the chicks that he's in charge of their OnlyFans, he's the one that's actually interacting with all their simps, and he's robbing them blind at the same time too. So he doesn't seem like a net positive for men, for masculinity, for men becoming good, strong, smart, confident men. He doesn't seem like a net positive for that. Maybe I'm wrong. He has a Bugatti. He has more than I do. That's for sure. So maybe I'm completely wrong. He certainly has more material things than I do. I'd be very curious to know if he's happy. Like, is he happy? Does he even know if he's happy? That's like, I don't know. The things he says, it's like my brain can't even compute some of the stuff that he says. Just, yeah, I don't even play the videos I played last show. You guys can go watch my last show if you want to see those videos. All right, enough with Andrew Tate. Enough with Andrew Tate. Let's move on to Lauren Boebert, because it seems, I mean, this is obviously much lesser of a thing, but it seems like they are going after Lauren Boebert as well a little bit. And I don't know. I'm not saying necessarily it was a setup. It's, again, some suspicious things, but why are they making such a big deal about it? I mean, they're trying to say how inappropriate it is, in a movie theater, there's kids around and all this. And then they're saying like the people that are coming out against Drag Queen Story Hour are doing this in a movie theater where kids are there. It's like, okay, well, first of all, it's a dark movie theater. There's no kids sitting right next to them or within their eyesight. It's not like she gave the dude an actual handy. She might have given a little, it might have been like halfway in between second and third base there. But the camera angle also makes it look like it was not the camera angle, the how bright the camera was. It was an infrared camera, so it makes it look like it was super bright in the movie theater. It's pitch black in a movie theater, and hasn't been in the movie theater with a date and gotten a little handsy. I mean, I don't know. It's not exactly the same thing as twerking in front of kids and having kids like put money in drag queens' thongs. It's not the same thing. And they're putting a lot of emphasis on it. So let's just review. Let's review what happened here. Let's see. So I'll start off with so Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is calling for an end to sending money to Ukraine. So she is doing that. So Lauren Boebert is calling for an end to sending money to Ukraine. Is this the video? No, it's just a picture. Let's see. Okay, here's the video of the infamous groping. So here's Amy Vanderpool says, here's Rep. Lauren Boebert on the House floor speaking about banning YA books that display offensive and very inappropriate themes. And here she is at the Denver theater last night where she and her date were caught on camera groping each other publicly. Okay. They're two very different things, but here, you can watch the groping.
Kids, it's gross. It is wrong. I am here to take a stand against it. And I urge my colleagues to pass my amendment. Here's the bottom line. Let's stop grooming our
All right, so we got a boob grab. That is certainly a boob grab. She gives them the look like, hey, you're grabbing my boob. And then it continues.
Children, including our military kids. It's gross.
Oh, there's the hand. Okay, So it looks like the boob grab is being reciprocated with a little over the pants tugboat action. So, all right. So that happened. And then, you know, I don't know. Is there more? Did they show the end of it? Oh, they don't show her leaving the theater. I don't know if I have it either. That's really the money shot, if you will. Yeah, the Democrats really seem to be upset about this one. But I guess that guy that she's with is some Democrat bar owner. So this is from Liz Crokin. She says, it turns out Lauren Boebert's mystery man is a Democrat bar owner. If I was a wagering enthusiast, I would bet this guy was paid to set her up. She's coming off a divorce and she's vulnerable. The guy comes into her life, charms her, seduces her, and then probably gets her liquored up and takes her out publicly, stage set. He then instigates her by fondling her in a theater that just happens to have night vision cameras right on them. Then the whole incident is released to the public and it looks like high definition video in an attempt to harm her reputation. This is all the way too convenient. Whether her date was a part of it or not, this seems like a well-coordinated setup. These types of tactics and traps are used all the time, and I would know. Okay. So, and then somebody says, the Americrat says, I don't care how vulnerable she was. She is with her divorce. Or I don't care how vulnerable she is with her divorce. You don't act like this in public. GOP has to stop making excuses. Okay, well, I'm not a Republican. And I mean, I've done worse in a theater. I'll just say it. I've done worse in a movie theater. Probably wasn't as busy. But I mean, that wasn't that bad. A little tit grab and that wasn't that bad. Oh man, come on. Okay, so all right. At least other people aren't so upset about it. Okay, well, that is what people are thinking could be happening with the Lauren Boebert situation. That this whole thing could be a setup because the guy's like a Democrat bar owner. Let's see. This woman says it's not enough to be kicked out of a public theater. Lauren Boebert needs to be kicked out of Congress. Make sure everyone sees this. Okay, let's see it.
The elected Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is uniquely responsible for riling up the violent mob that stormed the Capitol and nearly succeeded in killing her fellow members of Congress. The morning of the deadly terrorist attack.
Are they serious with this music? And did they really just say the deadly terrorist attack? Are they going to say the deadly terrorist attack on the Capitol? Are they going to say it? Are they going to say it?
That killed 5 people. Boebert tweeted.
What 5 people died that day? How did they die? Are we really still doing this? Are people really still that clueless? Are people really still that clueless about January 6th? They're still going with that narrative. Operation Mockingbird.
Today is 1776. The Trump supporters banging on lawmakers' doors that afternoon said the exact same thing.
1776!
In the days before the riot, Boebert herself led a group of Trump supporters on a tour.
They show her loading a magazine into a gun. Yeah, you're not making her look worse, dude.
Of the U.S. Capitol, according to Congressman Steve Cohen.
We saw Congressman Boebert taking a group of people for a tour sometime after the 3rd and before the 6th.
But the Capitol has been closed.
Is it just me, or is this so extra and over the top? This is. I think it's hilarious, but okay.
Closed for tours due to COVID. Boebert wasn't leading a tour, but a reconnaissance mission, so rioters knew exactly where to go when they attacked the Capitol. She even tweeted out Speaker Pelosi's movements as the Capitol siege was taking place. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution states that anyone who has participated in sedition is ineligible to hold office. Lauren Boebert needs to be expelled from.
Interesting. See how they're setting this up. They're going to try to use this sedition thing, seditious conspiracy crap. They're not just going to go after. Look what they did to Alex Jones. Look what happened to Alex Jones initially, getting completely deplatformed. And then look how many people it happened to after that. Once they set the precedent, they go after everybody. First, they're going after Trump with all this crap. This is such a slippery slope that we're heading down. Everybody knows it, but we just keep going down this road. All right, let's finish this horrible video.
From Congress and prosecuted for aiding and abetting.
They keep showing pictures of her looking pretty, and it's not helping, I don't think, in this video.
An attack on our country.
So prosecute Boebert. Who is this paid for by? Paid for by Really American PAC. Let's Google them really quick, shall we? Actually, let's not Google them. I'm unfortunately using Microsoft Bing. I know it's not any better. Really American PAC. Let's see. Really American. Oops, sorry. PAC. Who are they? They're located out of DC, Democrat, liberal, treasurer. Let's see. Who gives them money? Oh, that was their website. All right. I'll have to dig into that a little later. Curious who these people are. All right. Well, you know what? We're doing a short show tonight, guys, and that is all I'm going to end up talking about tonight. Just want to talk to you guys about the Psyops that still seem to be going on. I had a bunch of other stuff pulled up that I wanted to show you, but I'm just not going to get into it tonight, guys. I'm going to save it for Wednesday, I think. I am going to save it for Wednesday. But remember, okay, actually, no. You know what? I want to play one more quick video for you guys. As they're going after Lauren Boebert, they're making such a huge deal about Lauren Boebert touching a little wiener over the pants in a dark movie theater. So they make a huge deal about that. Let's remember creepy Uncle Joe. Let's not forget this video exists. And I cringe every single time I see it. Every single time. But we're going to watch it again.
You're 12, what's your name? How are you? The problem is, you know, you guys, you got a hard time. All right, sister. I like kids better than people.
Yeah.
That little redhead girl later came out and said Joe Biden pinched her nipple. This girl right here. The heck? This girl. This girl came out. See his hand? See how she like recoils away? She came out years later and said Joe Biden pinched her nipple. So we'll start from there again.
Sure. Okay.
Grandpa's one of those guys.
That's nice of you to say.
No, I'm not saying. He knows. Do you know what my dad used to say? His granddaughter said, one important girl.
So think about that in context with how his son behaves. Think about that in context with Ashley Biden's diaries, talking about how he gets in the shower with her when she was way too old. It's like, in general, just the super creepy stuff. Think about that in conjunction with all the elite pedo crap that we know with Epstein and all the other elite pedos. They're mad at Lauren Boebert for touching her date's wiener over the pants in a dark movie theater. Okay, if you say so. All right. Well, let's see. There is the whole so we talked about did we talk about this last show? Did we talk about it's already been an hour, but we'll go a little bit over. Let's go a tiny bit over, folks. Let's see. Because we got to talk a little bit about the Roman Empire. I'm pretty sure I talked about it last show, but it really is true. And I didn't know that I did it, but yeah, I do. I think about the Roman Empire a lot, and I think everybody else does too. So let's just watch this quick video talking about the Roman Empire. Yeah, I think we talk about it, or I think we think about it a lot. I'll just start right in the middle of this video because it's a longer one. So let's go over to who we got here. Amy Sutton over here on the X platform.
Maybe 3 or 4 times a month.
You think about the Roman Empire once a week.
It has a lot of big stories and lessons within the Roman Empire of what to do and what not to do. So yeah.
So you think about the Roman Empire once a week?
Sometimes, yeah. But not necessarily.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Honestly, at least 3 or 4 times a week.
No, you don't.
I'm serious.
Dead serious?
Yeah. Either about their armor, their swords, the roads.
That's the thing. The roads. It's just a lot about the construction, the aqueducts, the sewer systems. They did so much, and there's just so much built on top of the Roman Empire. It's almost like the Roman Empire never fell. It's just so much.
Armies.
You're making this up.
I'm not even kidding.
Have you seen TikTok?
No.
You legit do. You think about the Roman Empire.
Yeah, I mean, and I see stuff on TikTok about it too. But
what do you think about?
I just told you. I listed off a bunch of stuff.
So I think it's true, guys. I think it's true. Everybody thinks about the Roman Empire. Everybody does it. Well, dudes at least. So, all right, that's it. I think that is all we got for this evening. So, all right. I'm so glad everybody hung out with me and joined. Northside, thanks for joining. You're with me on the Tate Brothers. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of them. I mean, I'm just sort of whatever about them. I just don't think they're the greatest thing for men. That's all. Boebert got disoriented and confused by low quality vape pen. Oh yeah, she was vaping out there. We are a failing empire. Think of another failing empire is logical. Did they fail though? It's almost like the Roman Empire just moved, sort of, isn't it? All right. Yeah, I think that is all we got tonight. So Terry Wallace, Pete Grabber, Northside, all you guys over there on Rumble, then over here on YouTube, we got Wally World. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will be back on Wednesday. If you made it all the way to the end of the show and you haven't yet, please give the show a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to share the video on any platform, that would be awesome too. But before we get out of here, you know the rules. You know how we do it. Wally World, your wife asked you, and you told her once a year. She was disappointed. You think about the Roman Empire more than once a year. I guarantee you think about it more often than you think you do. All right. What do we got tonight? Let's see. Okay, here we go. I don't know if it's going to be any good. I just sort of scanned it. Let's see. Here's our Chuck Norris joke from the night. We got to read a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. And here we go. At Chuck Norris's bachelor party, he ate the entire cake before his friends could tell him where there was a strip. Oh, before his friends could tell him there was a stripper in it. And on that note, folks, stay CaliBased.